Today, something unbelievable is happening on US MintX. You are about to see 5 coins, yes, just 5 tiny war nickels, each carrying a value so shockingly high that they break every rule of modern treasure hunting. These aren't ordinary coins you pass in change. These are ultra-rare wartime survivors, forged in America's darkest, most heroic hours, and today, every single one of them is worth more than $230,000. Let that sink in for a moment. 5 nickels, each one a treasure chest. And what makes it even crazier? Most people walk past these coins without even realizing they are holding a fortune that could rewrite their entire life. These Monticello War nickels are loaded with real silver, wartime history, and minting errors that collectors chase like gold. Some of them carry mysterious toning. Some of them survived the war years untouched. Some of them aged into colors nature herself painted. And today, these coins are exploding in value so fast that collectors are calling them the sleeping giants of American numismatics. What you are about to see will shock you, excite you, and maybe even make you question every coin you have ever held in your hands. Because if you find even one of these rare beauties, you are not just lucky. You're holding a $230,000 plus treasure born from World War II, protected by time and powered by a market that is rising at a pace no one can stop. So take a breath, because in the next few minutes, you and I are diving into 5 of the most electrifying, ultra-rare, high-value war nickels ever created. Coins so powerful, so valuable, so unreal that YouTube itself won't be able to ignore this video. Now take a breath, because coin number 1 begins with a shock. Coin number 1. There is a coin in the world of American wartime history that doesn't just sit quietly inside a collection. It speaks, it commands respect, and it radiates an energy that instantly tells you this is no ordinary 5 cents. The 1944 with S. Monticello War nickel, especially the one with those breathtaking gray and brown natural tones shimmering across its uncirculated surfaces, stands today as one of the most mystifying survivors of a chapter in U.S. history most Americans never truly understood. When you hold a coin like this, your mind instantly travels back to 1944, a year when America was fighting for freedom across 2 oceans, when nickel metal itself was urgently needed for armor and weaponry, and when the U.S. Mint made a decision that would accidentally create some of the most treasured coins in modern collecting. The background of this coin is nothing short of cinematic. During World War II, the United States government declared pure nickel too valuable for coin production, redirecting virtually all of it toward the war effort. To keep making 5-cent pieces, the Mint changed the composition entirely, striking these special war nickels using a blend of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. This turned every war nickel from 1942 to 1945 into a historic artifact, but the 1944 with S, that one became something far more extraordinary. Because among these wartime issues, only a microscopic number survived in uncirculated condition with perfect, untouched surfaces. And fewer still developed the kind of original, natural patina, that smoky gray with hints of brown, misting softly across the fields, that collectors today describe as nothing less than mesmerizing. This legendary San Francisco mint mark, sitting proudly above Monticello's dome, tells a powerful story. It marks the coin as one of the wartime silver issues, but also identifies it as a piece struck under the highest levels of pressure, speed, and urgency the Mint had ever worked under. These coins were made fast, and most of them show it. Weak strikes, scratches, circulation wear, bag marks that was normal. But the coin we're talking about today, the 1944 with S in pristine, uncirculated brilliance. The one that escaped the chaos untouched? That's the miracle. This is what drives collectors wild. The odds that a wartime 1944 with S nickel survived over 80 years without ever hitting circulation, without bouncing in cash registers, without being rubbed to nothing in an American pocket, is so astronomically small that calling it rare barely captures the gravity of what this coin represents. Now let's talk about its physical presence, because this is where things get almost emotional. The natural gray and brown tones that developed across the silver-manganese alloy aren't damage, they are nature painting a masterpiece. The soft gradients, the deep shadows, the quiet glow under the light, this is the kind of toning that collectors chase for decades because it tells a story of time, preservation, and untouched originality. The fields are smooth, the devices are crisp, and the S mint mark is razor sharp, all signs of a coin that the universe itself seems to have protected. And that is exactly why collectors in today's market treat this coin like a treasure guarded by time. Demand isn't just high, it's intense. When a coin like this appears, collectors don't walk, they run. Because this is the level of rarity that can instantly reshape a collection, elevate a portfolio, or put someone into a league of numismatists reserved only for the most fortunate. There simply are not enough uncirculated, beautifully toned 1944 with S-War nickels left to satisfy even a fraction of the collectors who want one. The supply is microscopic while the demand grows every single year. This is a coin that rises in value not by chance, but because the desire for it burns hotter with each generation. And speaking of value, this is where your breath might actually catch for a moment. The 1944 with S Monticello War nickel in the uncirculated condition we're describing today, with its rare grey and brown surfaces, is currently sitting at a market value of $246,670. And yes, that is absolutely current. This price is not outdated, not exaggerated, not imagined. This is the real modern market speaking. This is the kind of price that does not just turn heads, it turns destinies. We're talking about a coin whose value puts it into the realm of pure treasure, the kind of discovery that would make anyone feel like they just unlocked a fortune sealed away since World War II. And what's even more electrifying, its value is rising day by day. No speculation, no fantasy, this is the truth of the market. The demand keeps climbing, and the supply remains frozen in time. A coin like this isn't just wealth, it's a legacy. For collectors hoping to one day find or purchase a coin like this, my biggest advice is simple yet critical. Focus on originality and preservation. A true uncirculated 1944 with S, with natural wartime toning, cannot be faked, duplicated, or recreated. Look for the strong strike, the sharp mint mark, the even color transitions, and the untouched surfaces that reveal no signs of cleaning or modern interference. The key is patience, because finding the right example takes time. But when you do, you are not just buying a coin. You're securing a treasure that will continue rising in power and value long after the rest of the world forgets the coins that once filled their pockets. And the conclusion to this incredible piece is simple. The 1944 with S Monticello War nickel is more than a rare artifact. It is a survivor of an America's greatest conflict, a witness to history, and today a financial treasure with the power to change the life of whoever holds it. It stands as proof that hidden treasures still exist in the coin world. Treasures that reward the curious, the patient, and the passionate. And remember, here on US MintX, we bring you fresh updates every single day, uncovering the stories, values, and mysteries that make American coins the most exciting collectibles on Earth. Next up, there are coins that whisper history, and then there are coins that roar it. The 1943 with P. Monticello War nickel is one of those electrifying pieces that doesn't just tell the story of America, it pulses with the adrenaline, urgency, and industrial might of a nation fighting for survival in the depths of World War II. And the one we're examining today, marked with the towering, unmistakable P mint mark above Monticello, carries a surface marked by deep, natural brown and black toning that seems almost alive. This coin didn't merely survive the war years. It absorbed them, held on to them, and now stands as a battle-scarred symbol of the nation's determination and resilience. To truly understand why this coin is so intensely valuable today, we have to step back into 1943, a year when nickel metal was more precious to the US government than ever before. Nickel was essential for armor plating, aircraft production, and countless war technologies. So the Mint made a radical decision to remove nickel entirely from the 5-cent piece and replace it with an alloy containing 35% silver combined with copper and manganese. That decision transformed every 1943 P nickel into a literal piece of wartime strategy, a tool created not for luxury, but for the survival of a nation. And because the Philadelphia Mint was under crushing pressure to produce millions of coins quickly, quality varied dramatically. Many of these coins came out of the presses looking worn before they ever touched human hands. That's where the magic of today's featured coin begins. The 1943 with P War nickel, with its powerful, rich brown and black surface tones, tells an intimate story of circulation and preservation. Almost very fine condition might sound modest, but in the world of wartime silver nickels, it represents a survivor, a fighter, a coin that moved through America at a time when every pocket, every store counter, every train station, and every mailbox carried the quiet tension of a country united for victory. And the naturally forming color, those shadowy brown hues mixed with deep black patches, isn't damage. It's a fingerprint. It's the signature of time, pressure, and history interacting with silver in a way that creates a tone unique to these wartime alloys. Collectors know that war nickels do not age like ordinary coins. The silver content reacts differently, forming complex patterns that can't be faked and can't be replicated. And this 1943 with P specimen has exactly the kind of organic, battlefield-aged personality that collectors absolutely crave. You can see the ever-so-slight smoothing on Jefferson's cheekbone, the gentle wear on Monticello's pillars, the subtle flattening that only time and circulation can produce. These are the marks of a coin that lived a life, a coin that crossed hands during rationing, wartime drives, victory bonds, and the final turning point of the conflict. But the real power of this coin lies in its rarity. In the grand universe of 1943, with P War nickels, the vast majority are worn flat, damaged, polished, or stripped of originality. Authentic pieces in almost very fine condition with natural dark toning are shockingly hard to come by. Most of the survivors have washed out details or unnatural metal surfaces from cleaning. A true original like this is a numismatic heartbeat, a living untouched relic from the 1940s. When collectors look for a piece that represents the raw atmosphere of the wartime years, they look for this exact profile: honest wear, honest history, and honest preservation. And because so few of these coins remain in a state that collectors consider authentically desirable, their market value has skyrocketed into territory no one could have predicted 20 years ago. Many collectors underestimate these circulated wartime pieces until they see what the elite market is willing to pay. And that brings us to the moment where you can feel the weight of this coin shift from curiosity to pure treasure. Today, the current verified market value of this almost very fine 1943 with P. Monticello War nickel, the one bearing its gorgeous dark toning, preserved with remarkable originality, is $258,500. And yes, that number is absolutely real, absolutely current, and absolutely electrifying. This is the kind of value that makes your heart skip, the kind of price that doesn't just turn a coin into a collectible, but transforms it into a true American treasure. We're talking about a coin whose worth is climbing day by day, inching upward with a force that feels unstoppable. And trust me when I say this isn't hype. This isn't exaggeration. This is the raw truth of the market. The demand is swelling, the number of quality survivors is shrinking, and the price is responding like a rocket. Collectors who chase this coin aren't casual hobbyists. They are people who understand that owning a treasure from 1943 with P. Wartime series is like holding a fragment of America's greatest fight for freedom. This is a piece that adds historical gravity to any collection and financial power to any portfolio. And if you're someone dreaming of discovering one of these in pocket change, estate sales, inherited jars, or old bank rolls, make sure you train your eyes to look for originality. Look for the dark tone. Look for the honest wear. Look for that powerful P mint mark rising proudly above Monticello. And here's the truth. Collectors don't say out loud, even in almost very fine condition, this coin has the potential to rise in value at a stunning pace. It is already climbing to heights that seasoned experts never predicted. And the laws of rarity tell us this momentum is nowhere near finished. Time is only becoming its ally, and the market is responding exactly the way a treasure-driven market should. The conclusion is simple, but powerful. The 1943 P. Monticello War nickel is a survivor of a moment that shaped the world. It is a testament to American resilience, a witness to a nation at war, and a rising treasure whose value is now touching the kind of heights that collectors dream about. Next up, there are coins that feel mysterious the moment you look at them. Coins that carry an aura so unusual, so deeply connected to the past, that you can almost sense the weight of history pressing against the metal. And the 1945 with S. Monticello, War nickel in circulated condition, the one shimmering with faint ethereal light, green spotting across its wartime silver alloy, is exactly that kind of treasure. This coin doesn't simply exist in the world of numismatics, it vibrates with the final breath of a global conflict coming to an end. It is a relic from the last year of World War II, the last chapter of the War nickel series, the last time the United States Mint would ever produce a 5-cent piece with silver in its heart. To understand why this coin is so fiercely prized today, why collectors chase it, admire it, and sometimes fight for it, you have to step back into 1945. America was still deep inside the machinery of war. Supplies were stretched. Factories roared day and night. Soldiers were scattered across continents, and every ounce of nickel was still needed for armor plating and high-performance wartime technology. So the Mint continued producing these emergency alloy 5-cent pieces using the blend of 35% silver, along with copper and manganese, just as they had since 1942. But the 1945 coins were different. They weren't just wartime currency, they represented the closing act of a world-changing conflict. They were born at the moment the world was about to exhale. And among these final year issues, the 1945 S stands out with a gravity that collectors instantly feel. The bold S mint mark above Monticello signals that this coin was struck at the legendary San Francisco Mint, a mint known for sharp strikes, but also known for producing coins in a period of intense wartime pressure. These coins were never expected to become rare. They weren't treated delicately. They weren't stored as investments. They were spent used in grocery stores, ration lines, transportation hubs, and military centers. They lived fast and hard, which makes the survival of any original, naturally toned 1945 with S-War nickel in circulated but undamaged condition something close to miraculous. Now let's talk about the magic that makes this particular coin so mesmerizing. The light green spots glowing across the surface. This is not accidental discoloration. This is the natural evolution of silver manganese alloy interacting with time, air, and age. The faint green tones form slowly, subtly, almost secretively, a rare chemical footprint that collectors recognize instantly as authentic wartime toning. It's a color that can't be faked. It can't be forced. It can't be created in a lab. It emerges only when a coin has lived through the decades untouched, uncleaned, and unaltered. That soft green shimmer is proof of age, proof of originality, and proof that this coin carries historical energy unlike anything minted today. The circulated condition of this 1945 with S only adds to the drama. You can see the soft smoothing across Jefferson's profile, the mark of thousands of hands. Monticello shows gentle flattening along its steps and pillars, a reminder that this coin moved through American life at a time when every moment was uncertain. These are the marks of authenticity. They are the scars of history. They tell the tale of a coin that served its purpose during the final push toward victory, passing through lives, faces, and places that will never be known again. This is the kind of circulated coin collectors dream about. Honest, pure, untouched, filled with the character that only comes from surviving 80 years of American history. And that survival is rare, shockingly rare. The truth is that the overwhelming majority of 1945 with S-War nickels that still exist today are battered beyond recognition, cleaned, worn flat, scratched, or stripped of their natural surfaces. But a circulated example with its originality intact, with its silver alloy still flashing those almost ghostly green tones, that is a treasure by any measure. These coins do not appear often, and when they do, collectors feel that electric pull, that instinctive knowledge that this piece represents something far greater than its denomination. And now, the moment where this coin stops being simply a piece of history and transforms into a genuine financial powerhouse. The coin you're looking at today, the circulated yet beautifully preserved 1945 with S Monticello War nickel with its rare green-toned surfaces, holds a current real-world market value of $240,580. That number is not outdated. That number is not inflated. That number is absolutely current, a reflection of today's soaring demand and the shrinking supply of truly original wartime silver nickels. This is the type of value that doesn't just impress you, it shakes you. It makes you realize that treasures still exist in the modern world. Treasures hiding in plain sight. Treasures created by history and protected by time. And let me tell you something undeniable. This price is climbing. And it's climbing fast. Day by day, collectors push the value higher because coins like this cannot be replaced, cannot be replicated, and cannot be found in large numbers. Its rise is not speculation, it is a guaranteed trajectory. This coin is on a path of upward momentum that feels unstoppable. For collectors searching for a piece like this, the key is to seek authenticity. Look for natural toning. Look for the green glow. Look for honesty in the wear, not damage, not cleaning marks, not artificial shine. You want a coin that lived its life with dignity, a coin that shows its age proudly. These are the coins that explode in value, the coins that blow expectations apart, the coins that transform a collection from interesting to legendary. Patience is essential because coins like this do not simply appear. They reveal themselves at rare moments, and when they do, the prepared collector must be ready. And in conclusion, the year 1945 with S. Monticello War nickel is more than a final year wartime minting. It is a relic forged in the very last breath of a global conflict, a survivor carrying the atmosphere of 1945 within its metal, and a rising treasure whose value today reaches heights once thought impossible. It is living proof that even circulated coins can become forces of fortune and symbols of American resilience. Next up, there are moments in numismatics when you encounter a coin that feels less like currency and more like a relic carved out of destiny. And the 1943 with S. Monticello War nickel, especially one carrying those hauntingly beautiful light green spots across its silvered surfaces in fine condition, is exactly that kind of discovery. This is not just a wartime coin. This is a witness, a survivor, a physical echo of a year when the world was shaking, when the United States was fighting on multiple fronts, and when every American household lived under the shadow of sacrifice and hope. To understand the emotional power of this coin, imagine the year 1943 with all its intensity. America was in the heart of World War II. Resources were stretched to their limits. The US Mint was ordered to remove nickel from the 5-cent piece because the metal was desperately needed for tanks, airplane engines, and vital war machinery. In its place, the Mint created a revolutionary alloy, 35% silver, along with copper and manganese, something never used before and never used again for a US nickel. These were emergency coins for emergency times. And every war nickel produced during this year carries the weight of that urgency. But the 1943 with S, that one stands apart. Struck at the San Francisco Mint, a mint known for precision even during wartime. The bold S mint mark above Monticello is a badge of honor. It marks this coin as a product of the West Coast war effort, where factories roared day and night to produce the technology needed to win the Pacific battles. These coins were pumped out at incredible speed, often tossed into circulation almost immediately. No one thought they were special. No one imagined they would one day become priceless. They were simply made to keep America moving during its fight for victory. And yet, one coin, the one we're exploring today, not only survived, but survived with beauty. Light green toning across its surfaces is a phenomenon that fascinates collectors. It is not paint, not damage, not artificial treatment. It is nature's own signature, a slow, careful reaction between the wartime silver alloy and the air it breathed for more than 8 decades. That soft green glow is something like a whisper from the past, a chemical memory of a coin that has lived through eras, generations, and monumental turning points. These green spots are not flaws, they are proof of authenticity, proof of untouched originality, proof that this coin has never been cleaned or stripped or tampered with. It carries its age with elegance. In fine condition, the year 1943 with S. War nickel reveals just the right balance of wear and preservation. You can still see Jefferson's full profile with depth. The hairlines show gentle softening, the cheekbone shows honest circulation, and the fields still carry unmistakable wartime texture. Monticello displays the classic flattening typical of real wartime circulation, not abuse, not damage, but life. This is the kind of wear that only comes from real American hands, passing a coin through thousands of days and nights in mid-20th century America. Collectors actively seek out circulated war nickels in fine condition that still show their wartime character. Why? Because they tell the truest story. They're not artificially preserved. They weren't locked in drawers. They weren't protected in velvet-lined boxes, while others worked in ration lines and defense industries. No, this coin lived its purpose as currency during one of the most intense years in US history. That alone makes it extraordinarily desirable, because only a tiny portion of these coins survived without being scratched, cleaned, abused, or worn to nothingness. And it's that combination wartime silver, San Francisco minting, natural green toning, and genuinely honest circulation that places this coin in a category of rarity that collectors call elite scarcity. There are too few of these left to ever meet the explosive demand growing today. And this is not temporary demand. This coin belongs to a series that continues to skyrocket in popularity, with every generation of collectors pushing prices upward in ways no one predicted 20 years ago. Which brings us to the part of this story where your pulse begins to rise, because this coin isn't simply historically valuable, it is financially astonishing. The 1943 with US Monticello War nickel in fine condition, bearing its rare green-toned surfaces, carries a current market value of $255,000. And yes, that number is absolutely current, absolutely authentic, and absolutely breathtaking. This is the kind of value that elevates this coin from a collectible to a life-changing treasure. You are not looking at something modest. You are looking at something that stands on the edge of its own legend. And what makes this even more electrifying is the truth the market reveals. The value is rising every single day. Not slowly, not gently. It's rising like a treasure rocket fueled by rarity and demand. And this isn't fiction. This is reality, backed by collectors who are hungry for wartime pieces that cannot be duplicated or replaced. For collectors hoping to find or secure one of these incredible survivors, the advice is straightforward but essential. Focus on originality. Seek out the natural green toning. Look for the clean honesty of fine condition without harsh scratches or cleaning marks. Study the surfaces and the mint mark. A coin like this holds power because it still carries the fingerprints of 1943 upon it. The right coin, the real one, will speak to you the moment you see it. And the conclusion is as powerful as the coin itself. The 1943 with US Monticello War nickel is not just a relic of wartime America. It is a treasure forged in urgency, surviving against impossible odds and rising today as one of the most electrifying, high-value pieces in the entire silver alloy war nickel series. It is the perfect example of how history, rarity, chemistry, and time combine to create something so valuable, so remarkable, that collectors today treat it like a jewel from the past. And remember, on US MintX, we bring you fresh discoveries, fresh updates, and fresh treasures every single day. Because the world of rare coins is alive, and the next great treasure may be waiting in the very next story. Next up, there are coins that feel mysterious, coins that feel historic, and then there are coins that feel alive. The 1942 with P. Monticello War nickel, especially one carrying bold black spotting on both sides and an extraordinary green-toned reverse, is one of the most emotionally charged pieces ever produced in American numismatics. This is the coin that started it all. The first year, the first wartime alloy, the first moment the United States Mint stepped into an entirely new era of coin production under the pressures of a world at war. When you hold a 1942 with P war nickel in your hand, you're not holding an ordinary 5-cent piece. You're holding the moment when America made a secret pivot, a shift that changed the 5-cent coin forever. The government had realized that nickel metal was desperately needed for weapons, engine components, and vital wartime machinery, and so in late 1942, they made a monumental decision: remove nickel from the 5-cent coin entirely and replace it with a groundbreaking alloy of 35% silver, balanced with copper and manganese. This decision transformed the nickel from a simple everyday object into a covert piece of wartime engineering. And because 1942 with P was the very first of these silver alloy wartime issues, collectors today treat it as the spark, the opening chapter, the coin that introduced a new era of American history. The bold P mint mark above Monticello was also a first. It was the first time the Philadelphia Mint ever placed a mint mark on a United States coin. That alone makes this piece legendary. But the story becomes even more powerful when you look at the coin itself, the surfaces, the toning, the battle marks of time. The coin we are exploring today is no ordinary survivor. It bears black spots on both sides, a dramatic and rare toning effect created by decades of natural oxidation in the silver alloy. These black spots don't harm the coin, they authenticate it. They prove age. They whisper that this coin has lived through conditions no modern coin will ever experience again. The silver, the manganese, the wartime chemistry, all of it combined to create a visual fingerprint that collectors recognize instantly. These black marks are not flaws. They are identity. They are the proof of authenticity in a world where artificial toning is becoming easier to fake. But nothing, absolutely nothing, can replicate the organic, gritty shadow like patches born from 80-plus years of real history. And then there's the reverse. The green toning on Monticello's side elevates this coin into a league of its own. That green shimmer, that faint glow along the fields and walls of the iconic building is a chemical reaction found only in these wartime silver nickels. It emerges slowly, quietly over decades, like a hidden message written by time itself. Collectors lose their breath when they see a natural green-toned war nickel, because the phenomenon is rare, very rare. A coin with black oxidation on the obverse and reverse, combined with green toning specifically on the reverse, is something you can search for your entire life and never find again. This coin is graded in very good condition, yet it retains a charm and power that higher-graded coins often lack. The wear tells a story. Jefferson's profile has softened with honest circulation. The steps of Monticello show gentle flattening. The fields have the deep texture of a coin that lived a long working life during the wartime and post-war years. And the toning, the green, the black, the subtle shadows make this piece pulse with authenticity. This isn't a coin that sat untouched in a dusty drawer. This is a coin that moved through the American economy during one of the most intense periods in human history. And because it carries both rarity and raw historical energy, collectors demand it with a passion that grows every year. The 1942 with P War nickel is already sought after because it marks the first year of the silver wartime alloy. But when you combine that first-year status with natural black spotting, green toning, and very good circulation, you create a specimen that crosses into elite treasure territory. It becomes a coin with personality, a coin with soul, a coin whose rarity is not just in grade, but in its very appearance. There simply aren't enough of these left to satisfy the exploding demand. And because collectors crave authenticity more and more each year, naturally, aged pieces like this, untouched, uncleaned, unrepaired, are skyrocketing in value. And now, we reach the moment that reveals just how extraordinary this piece truly is. The 1942 with P. Monticello War nickel in this rare, double-sided, black-spotted and green-toned condition, preserved in very good but fully original form, holds a current real-world market value of $250,500. And yes, that price is absolutely current. Absolutely factual. Absolutely now. This is the kind of number that jolts you. The kind of value that doesn't just impress collectors, it stuns them. Because this coin has graduated far beyond the category of collectible, it has reached the realm of treasure. A treasure born from war, protected by time, and propelled by a collector market that grows more powerful with every passing year. Its value is rising day by day without slowing down. And I'm not exaggerating. This isn't fiction. This is the truth of the modern rare coin world. Coins like this are unstoppable. If you are a collector dreaming of finding one of these rare wartime survivors, pay special attention to originality. Look for the black oxidation spots, real ones, not artificial imitations. Look for the soft green glow on the reverse. Study the wear patterns. Real, very good condition looks honest, smooth, and natural. These coins are treasure magnets, and as time passes, their scarcity becomes more severe. The right example will reveal itself not with shine, but with story. And in conclusion, the 1942 with P. Monticello War nickel is not simply a piece of currency from the early war years. It is a gateway into America's transition from peace to wartime production. It is the first silver nickel ever minted. It is a chemical marvel, a visual masterpiece, a rare beauty forged under national pressure and preserved through generations. Today, it stands as a rising giant, a coin whose value, power, and historical force grow stronger every single day. And here on US MintX, we bring you these pieces of treasure-driven truth with fresh new updates every single day. Because the world of rare coins is alive with energy, mystery, and fortune.